Hey guys, welcome back to the Top RC Corsair build with the DLE-222 conversion. So we just got done doing a engine run, put a tank through it, and this motor runs fantastic. It holds a really nice low idle, which Bearcat motor never really did. It still doesn't really do all that great. Might be the load of the prop. Maybe it's just got a lot of throttle in it. I could have sworn I had these ignitions set up to the right bank when I tried to start this thing, and I could not get it started to save my life. I literally wore out my middle finger, right? Like tore the skin. And then I did some researching online, and I checked it. I had pulled the plug out, checked when it sparked, and felt where the piston was, and it sure seemed like that was the right one. Ended up being wrong. Easy fix, all you do is you swap the connectors to the ignitions and thing fired right up. So, and I was pumping fuel into it. I didn't know what the heck was going on. Pulled plugs out, checked all the plugs. Anyways, long story short, I got the throttle hooked up, obviously. So, and I'll pull the wing off and show you guys in a little more detail. This side's running a little fat. Anyways, carbs are set nice and rich right now for braking, obviously. But yeah, so I got the throttle set up pretty straightforward actually. I ended up just making a hole in some of the structure that's inside and screwing a servo to it. So pretty easy on the throttle hookup. I got to make a connection for the choke so it chokes both sides at once. Let's see. This might be a hair too much prop. It's certainly a lot of pitch. I wish it had less pitch. It's an 18 pitch. Motor's not turning it particularly fast, but this thing has some insane pull, even with the motor not broken in yet. So it feels like this thing will fly amazing at half throttle, which it probably will. But anyways, yeah, so next step is to so I was able to get the landing gear installed. I had to do some clearancing to get the units in and all that. Kind of typical Chinese fitment. This is a decent kit. I'm not overly impressed with the quality or the hardware that it comes with. I think it's a decent starting point. A lot of guys are telling me to look out for the wing. That Top RC stuff can be janky. A lot of guys they sold a lot of models, so there's a lot of P51s out there for sure, but particularly the Corsair guys say to look out for. And I definitely took a look inside the wing. From what I understand, this is a newer version, but it's all carbon cloth wrapped spar, so I mean it looks pretty solid. And I am not, even though I realize this is a 220cc motor, it's a big honking motor with a big old prop, but I was expecting my Bearcat to be just an absolute rocket, and it kind of is. It goes straight up forever. But even with the 14 pitch prop, I bet that model isn't doing 115, maybe 120 out of a dive. These scale props are not efficient at creating pitch speed. There's a lot of static thrust there, but not a lot of speed. So I don't plan on flying this model much over 110, 115 miles an hour. The intention is to fly a scale. I'm not going to be out there like the majority of the guys who fly large scale warbirds and be out there wide open, ripping around low level and just turning circuits the whole time. Which, you know, that's fun if you're doing it with your buddies or whatever, but I'm not going to be out there pulling 10 Gs with this thing. It's all scale type maneuvers, scale type flying. The reason it has this motor is to swing this big scale prop. So, and because these things need a ton of nose weight, and why not just slap a 10-pound motor on it? So, anyways, I got to clean up the wires a little bit, obviously, but fairly straightforward cowling. I am going to have, much like the Bearcat, 3D printed motor on the front of this, and then I'll be building cooling baffles around all of that Very much like the Bearcat, that's worked out fantastic. Haven't had any cooling issues at all with the Bearcat. So this will be a very similar setup to the Bearcat. And so yeah. So I got a temporary receiver in it for right now. And I'll pull the wing off and show you guys all this stuff. But 32 ounce tank, I ran the thing for about 20 friggin' minutes on that tank. Obviously not full throttle the whole time. But I did do quite a number of full throttle and half throttle runs. I don't have a tack on this thing, so I don't know exactly what the RPM's doing, but it sounds to be around 5,000, which I understand, you know, you should be running more. You know, his motor makes more power at higher RPM. I'm not super concerned with that. It's going to have more than enough throttle or power at half throttle, but this thing is not going to need every ounce that I can get out of the motor, every little quarter of horsepower. The Bearcat, kind of the same way, and it's actually kind of surprised me how much throttle that airplane takes, but that's got a much lower pitch prop, so I don't imagine this one's going to take a lot of throttle to fly at a scale speed. So anyways, that's where we're at. So I need to finish up the landing gear install. Right now they're just kind of temporarily installed. I got to figure out the gear doors. Then I'm going to start hinging stuff and kind of go from there. But anyways, probably keep this video short. So let me get the wing pulled off, show you guys the throttle servo and how that's all set up. And I'll check back with you guys in just a minute. So here's what we got going on. I'm gonna have to once the wings installed, it's pretty much gonna be permanent unless I'm going to an event and I just have to make more room. But anyways, this is what I came up with for the servo for the throttle. So a friend of mine gave me this servo to try out a while ago, and I thought, well, this is good to use. I'll be using Spectrum 6330s for pretty much everything else. This is a high voltage digital servo. Seems to be working fine for throttle. Not too worried about it. But nice straightforward throttle linkage. Certainly a little bit nicer than my Bearcat setup. So I can see it hooks in right there. Then we get the linkage between them, between the two carbs here. And honestly, the linkage might be one of the reasons why the Bearcat doesn't like to idle well, because I don't know that the push rod is perfectly. It's a long push rod, and it's also tied to the cowl flaps, so there might be some stickiness or slop to it that's causing it to not hold a reliable idle. This thing, even with the mixture being pretty fat right now, it idles really low and reliable already, not even broken in. So the Bearcat's not terrible. It's just not as low of an RPM as I would like to get. This one's already idling pretty dang low. So anyways, I'm probably going to keep the video short. Next video is going to be just miscellaneous assembly stuff. So this was the complicated part of it, getting this monster engine on here, and that's pretty much done. The next part of that's going to be the cowling, getting all that stuff sorted out. But mechanically speaking, the engine's doing pretty good. We'll see when this 3D printed motor shows up. I may fly it just cowled with the cowl flaps open first if I don't get the radial in time. Hoping to fly it sometime this next week. I got this next week off of work, so hoping to get it all finished up and flying anyways. And then haven't decided on a scheme yet. This one will do for now. Everyone seems to like it. I don't really know what it is about the scheme that everyone likes, but to me it's kind of funny looking. But anyways, I'm more of a traditional guy, especially when it comes to Corsairs. Probably because I watched too much Black Sheep Squadron when I was a kid. So to me, a Corsair is just blue, and that's what I envision when I think of a Corsair. But anyways, yeah. I guess that'll do it for this video. Hope you guys enjoyed a little test run footage, and yeah, we'll see you in the next one.